Unfiltered Part 25. Yes, it's the 25th episode, which is making it a silver jubilee for us. And joining us today is Sekhar Surabhi, President and CEO of Caliber Technologies, a global leader in IT solutions for regulated industries, chair of ISPE Pharma 4.0 Corp India, and board member of ISPE India. Sekhar brings expertise in analytical instrumentation and pharmaceutical testing with a passion for simplifying complexities. Under his leadership, Caliber has expanded globally in US, in EU, and expanded their wings in India as well, and earned numerous accolades, including the Entrepreneur of the Year award. And today we will learn more about him and who he really is behind the scene, and learn from his experiences for setting up the business as well. How are you doing today, Sekhar?
Excellent, excellent. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me.
Great. And thank you very much for making time. We've been trying to have this podcast from a while now.
Absolutely,
Finally,
absolutely. I understand it. Yeah.
finally, we're sitting on this
Yeah,
couch.
yeah, I think we could get the right time together. Probably.
Yes. And last time as well, we had the podcast planned and you had ISPE meeting.
Yes.
Right. And
And
that's
then one
what
time I was
we
traveling, and it was a very sudden visit. So it happens. Yeah.
Right. So, like I told you, the purpose that we have behind this podcast is to tell people that who leaders really are behind the facade of how they know them. So, if we can know more about you, who is Sekhar when you separate Caliber from Sekhar?
So if I want to describe Shaker, uh, I would probably say inquisitive, optimistic person.
Okay.
Okay. So and then yeah, I always try to explore something new. That's what I am. I would probably put myself as a human-centric person, more of relationship, not a very social person. I don't really go into parties. Yeah, more a family person. Yeah, that's what I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And if you can tell me more about your hobbies as well.
Okay. Uh, Hobbies, I would probably say hobbies keep changing, and then we cultivate new things as we
It
go.
does, yes.
Right. So when we started, probably childhood, I was more into music. I was playing tabla.
Wow.
Okay. So all my sisters, they used to sing. So it's all Carnatic music, and then so I used to be accompanying them for those things. So that really went on for quite some time. So we did a lot of performances, and then it was really great. So then it turned out to be more about automobiles.
Okay.
So yeah, more of two-wheelers.
Okay.
Right. So that was a very big hobby for me.
Okay.
So I was really servicing all the motorcycles, scooters of all my friends, and then that was a big
Wow.
thing for us.
Right. So I want to open the machine and see how it works.
Oh, in fact, we were bringing machines from sort of Gujari junks
Okay.
and then make them into motorcycles.
Oh wow. Okay.
So that was a very interesting thing.
Right.
In the entire town, we were known as people with motorcycles.
And you can
Wizards
modify
kind
it
of
into
thing, modify
wow.
it, do that. So that was really fun.
Right.
So then it grew into hobby of more into electronics.
Okay.
That was a real good part of my life.
Okay.
Right. After I completed my 10th class examination, my father took me to a place, said he is known in that town. I come from a small town.
Right.
So then said, okay, this is my son. He is very keen on technologies, and whatever he sees at home opens it up. So teach him something. So that's how it started. That's a beautiful journey.
Right.
So the person, I would say, my very, very great guru.
Right.
So he is a person who really knows the technology very well, and then known in that entire district as a person who is very visionary kind of person.
Okay.
And he would always take up anything comes in new.
Okay.
Okay. So when I was doing my completed my 10th standard, so it was a time of radios. Then tape recorders were just coming up. Then comes to VCRs, TVs, and kind of.
Yes, I remember
right?
those.
That old days.
Right.
So don't ask me my age now. Right? So that's how it is. So that time we really got introduced to radios and everything. So it went to the extent we were really leading in that entire things. So while I was there, I really learned quite a lot from him.
Okay.
So that still stays with me.
Yeah.
So one of the very important things he probably taught me is you should always be looking forward to the new technology, not stay on the old, even if it is very good.
Yeah.
right?
Very
So
important lesson.
that's very, very important lesson. So that time when I started working with him or learning from him, so he was doing radios and then TVs when the tape recorders were coming in. He started refusing taking radios so that he has time to learn about the tape recorders and then learn
Wow.
that,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Though he is very good and he is sought out person, but he would not take it.
Right.
He would say, no, no, I'm not doing it now, I'll go to tape recorders.
Very wise and
So when the tape
intelligent.
recorders were just coming out and then VCRs were coming, so he would actually deny all taking
Tape
repairs of
recorders.
tape recorders.
Yeah.
Okay, so he always used to say that you need to be really in forefront of the technology to learn. So if you get busy with so many other things, you will never learn them.
It's very important to have a very good
Very, very
mentor
important.
in your
So
life.
that actually kept me learning about new things and kind of thing.
Right.
So interestingly, he is also a very big motorcycle
Enthusiast. Oh,
enthusiast,
okay.
and I would say mechanic or whatever he say.
Okay.
And what is very important from that point is, he is very meticulous in whatever he does.
Okay.
He taught me so many things. So if a customer comes to you, by the time he returns, he should feel that he has done something really good. When it's say he's delighted.
Right.
So my job was to clean all the cabinets, make it very, with soap and everything, clean it, make it ready, and then the time he takes it out, it should look like new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big lesson.
Right.
We started that.
Right. That is very, very important. And are
Yeah.
you still in touch with him?
Oh yes, yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
you are.
Yeah.
He must be really proud of you.
Yeah, of course. So you'll be surprised to know he did not even complete his graduation,
Okay.
but now he helps all PhD students in IISc,
Wow.
Indian Institute of Science.
Wow.
So, anyways,
Wow.
that's a great thing. So
Imagine.
I was fortunate enough to have people like that. So I had another very interesting um, hobby was into electrical things.
Okay.
So we come from a little bit of farming community. My father comes from a background of farmers and other things. So we used to have a lot of electrical motors, starters and everything. So that's
Right.
everything. So these two gurus of mine from a small town, they are very different.
Right.
Okay. So one person who is really an expert, and second person who is really daring to get into something.
Yeah.
He would not hesitate to open something or do something. He would say, "You open it, I'll see it. Don't worry about that. I'll take care of it."
Right.
So that's that actually gave me a sort of enthusiasm or optimistic nature as I go forward.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's what it is. And then the first guru always said, "You can never stay here. You have to go out." Okay.
This is so important.
Right.
Right.
So this is just an introduction to the technology.
Yeah.
Go study well. Do something really big in
Right.
in life.
So to let go of people at the right time for their growth, I think that is the key to leadership.
That's
isn't it?
amazing, really. Yeah,
Right.
amazing.
Indeed, a
And
wonderful
I
leader.
really think he has done a great service to me, and not offering anything there.
That's really so humble of you.
That's
And
it.
so, since they were there in your formation years,
Hmm.
and I'm sure that means who you are today has played a very important role in what they taught you, isn't it? In
Absolutely,
Caliber.
absolutely. I mean, I started seeing things from a very different perspective, right? Not just the theory part of it, the technology part of it is important.
Right.
The practical part of it is important.
Right.
How do you finish something is very important. How do you really care for a customer is important,
Right.
right? So that's how it is. So
Right.
then I went on to do my graduation, completed my BSc, then went into post graduation.
Right.
So I did my post graduation in physics
Okay.
with electronics as specialization because I had a very good interest in electronics.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, that was good couple of years in Anantapur, so I did that. Then while I was doing that, I had a lot of interest in doing PhD,
Okay.
right? I was really very keen, but unfortunately, I could not really qualify. Like you used to have first class for doing that.
Okay.
So I missed first class by 1 mark,
Okay.
right? That is really good. So that's a blessing in disguise. So I did not opt for then PhD. Then went on to get into a service job,
Right.
and very interestingly, the same dream city, Mumbai, I started my career.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. So you started your career in Mumbai.
Mumbai.
All right. Okay.
So I was working for a biomedical company.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you always know that you are going to be in pharma or servicing pharma or in pharma?
No, not really till another next 5 years of time journey, right? I never thought of it.
Uh-huh.
So my ambition was more into, of course, wanted to do something on my own after some time,
Mm-hmm.
but I wanted to be more into instrumentation or creating something, a device,
Right.
this kind of things.
Right.
But I never thought I would be into pharma so completely related to that. Yeah. That's how it goes,
Right,
We don't know
it
really.
does,
Yeah.
it does. So about your journey, that means what was the vision behind starting Caliber, and how was the journey up until you actually initiated this?
Yeah. See, I was working for major portion of my time
Okay,
with a company called New Lab.
okay,
So, which was one of the very, very important and then big companies in analytical instrumentation.
okay,
Okay. So, in analytical instrumentation, yeah, we were more into pharmaceuticals, research, and then kind of things.
okay,
So, manufacturing quality control was one of their bigger things. So, that company was into chromatography, spectroscopy, a lot of things in pharma.
right,
So chromatography is one of the very interesting topics for me, and then
it
I
is,
was leading their entire team for some time,
right,
right, as a chromatography head for that, and chromatography, mass spectroscopy, all those things there,
okay,
right?
okay,
So while doing that, there was a time when it was getting a sort of saturated.
mm-hmm.
So I was talking to my managing director at that time, saying that yeah, I'm little getting bored, and then do something else, and probably I'll leave. They said, no, don't leave. Tell me like what is that you want to do.
Uh-huh.
I said, why not? See, we are into analytical instrumentation.
Mm-hmm.
So why not we look at starting a testing lab,
Okay,
analytical testing lab?
uh-huh.
He said, okay, where do you get instruments? He said, a lot of instruments are lying in your stores,
Uh-huh.
which are not being used. So you give me those things and then we'll set up.
Okay,
So I set up that entire analytical lab
wow,
with instruments which were not used and are kept in sort of store. So we set up that entire lab, and it was very successfully run for next 5 years time by me. So that lab was completely focused for testing pharmaceutical products. So we were big time testing for companies like Procter and Gamble, Action 500 tablets, quite a big. So that actually made me more towards pharmaceuticals and quality systems.
mm-hmm.
That was really appreciable. So we leaned towards that. So while setting up that company, analytical testing lab, so we also decided that we should have complete automation from the day one.
Okay,
So when we look at automation in any testing lab or a pharma, the first thing which comes is a lab information management system. So way back we built that entire system in Fox Pro.
mm-hmm.
I don't know whether you heard of it or
I have
not.
heard of it.
It's a
Yes,
very old
yes,
technology, right? So we built that on Fox Pro, and we were one of the probably couple of laboratories who had that sort of technology that time.
right,
And we run that lab, and then with ISO certifications, very successful with that.
okay,
So when it came to year 2000, big time, isn't it? So then I wanted to shift into IT, because by that time I was very keen on IT. So web technologies, and then the new technology, whatever coming up. So then I went into an IT company, so which was working for more Lotus Notes kind of. That was like Indic, they call it, so indigenization of local languages,
okay.
right? We were doing that. So that time I did not probably like that company, so I wanted to start up something of my own. That's when we started this,
Wow.
2001.
2001.
Yeah,
So it's already been 24 years and 25 is counting.
absolutely. 20,
Right.
23, 24 now. Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
that's wonderful. I remember very well. That means you guys were making a bigger office,
Mhm.
and the inauguration was somewhere in 2018, I think. In
Yes, must be. Yeah.
yes, yes. And I also want to understand because relatively, if you say 24 years, it's pretty young company, and you have
Okay.
expanded, and you have a bigger team, and it's not only in India but global presence as well. So how did you handle this expansion? Were there any challenges or any mistakes that you learned from and then succeeded? How was the journey for that?
Journey, particularly entrepreneurship, is a very crazy thing. Very crazy thing, right? Uh, what it bites, then only you know that yeah, it has beaten me, right? So it goes on from there. When we started in 2001, entire software industry was in a negative list of banks,
Okay.
right? So they were not even giving loans or financial support, nothing,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So I was so passionate and then so positive about making this happen because the 21 CFR compliance rules and the web technology both were coming that same time,
Right.
right? And combination of that would be really a good big hit. That's what
Right.
my thought was. So with that in mind, we started in 2001, right? When we started this, we could probably not afford so many things and then started in my Aparna's office, like in a
Right.
small room.
Okay.
But we were very positive about that one.
Okay.
With my relationship with many good pharma companies, we started this one. Um, the
This
journey
trust
actually,
factor was always there with the clients, right?
yeah, that's true.
Right.
I mean, that's more of a trust creation. So I've been
Right.
working with them for quite some time.
Right.
The advantage of having a combination of service and marketing is many customers trust service people than the marketing people.
I understand. I
Unfortunately,
agree. I agree with you.
yeah. So the sales people are less trusted compared to
And
the service
besides that
people.
famous saying where they say that people buy people. So before they talk about your solution, they want to know what kind of person you are. Are you going to be there in
Absolutely,
case if things go down? So I think that also is the reason that you had that
absolutely,
accountability.
absolutely. So that's one of the backbones of our entire thing. Trust.
Right.
So trust, it could be with people whomever we deal with.
Right.
It could be all our partners, vendor, supplier, maybe the teams and everything. So that's how we create the trust and then move on from there. So now coming back to your question on how did we
Expansion.
expand and then do that. So when we did this, entire software was built for complying to the FDA regulations,
Okay.
right? So FDA regulations are companies who are exporting to US should comply to that, and our softwares would see that they comply to that, and then they don't deviate from the norms, and then they really eliminate the risk of non-compliance,
Right.
right? So while we are doing that, we worked with Dr. Reddy's as first company, and then went into there was an invitation from Arvindo to show our product, went into that, and then further that.
Right.
So while we were doing that, we know that we were doing very good job in terms of complying to the norms. So we thought, yeah, while we are doing this here in India, complying to the norms of like US, why not we go there itself and then start working on that? So after one failed attempt in 2008, we started off completely our own.
Okay.
So in our failed attempt, we partnered with somebody that was not really working well. So in 2008, we went on our own.
Okay.
Okay, so it has a little bit of story behind that. We went into Pittsburgh as a first company, right? So the little bit of story is we were trying to get some sort of funds for expansion, which is obvious because we are first generation entrepreneurs, right? So when we were doing that, there was a competition run in ISB, Indian School of Business,
Okay.
right? So that was on elevator pitch,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
So a lot of people, venture capitalists, angel investors were all there, and we were giving that. When we gave that, we were number one. So we were selected as we won that prize,
Wow.
right?
Okay.
But unfortunately, our vision for that was only like we wanted only about 80 lakhs, right? They said we can fund minimum 5 million.
Okay.
Okay, $5 million that time.
Okay.
That 5 million was too much for us. We don't know what to do with 5 million. Then we said, okay, we'll come back after some time, right? So it so happened there was one investing company or rather, regional promotion center from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania,
Okay.
right? So that's called iPort.
Right.
So then there was one more consultant from that place.
Okay.
So that consultant said, okay, it looks very interesting. You come to Pittsburgh and then let's talk about that.
Okay.
So that's how we went into Pittsburgh. we talked with that person, we engaged that person to look at, how do we do it.
Wow.
So while we were doing that, he said, okay, there is a very good, government supported fund. So why not we talk to them? I said, okay, come on, let's go. So we went there, we spoke to something called Innovation Works, is a which is a Ben Franklin fund, which is supported by state government there. So when we went there, they were very interested in looking at our journey and then what we went. And they had no policy of investing into a foreign company, right? So that went on for some time. We had a lot of discussions, and then we did that. We went to other states like Alabama, we went into New Jersey, but finally, Innovation Works, to cut the long story short, Innovation Works decided that they would invest into us.
Right.
Interestingly, we were the first company they invested into a foreign company,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
First Indian company. And again, uh, we had no product which has got an IP in US.
Okay.
Still, they agreed to invest into us.
Wow.
That was a debt fund kind of thing, which
Right.
is convertible.
Right.
So they gave us $300,000. They said, okay, run, right? Unfortunately, it was 2008, and then it was Lehman Brothers doom,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So 2008, no company in US was starting a new project.
Okay.
I got the funding, we got people, everything done, but no project started because of this problem. Then of course we started working on those things. Then we could get some customers. Then the story started, right? And then when we got funding from Innovation Works, there was another funding company, like government company,
Right.
which was like Pittsburgh Greenhouse Life Sciences,
Okay.
PLSG, Pittsburgh Life Science Greenhouse. So they funded. So together that was a good chunk of money to start with, right? And it was not the fund what we required.
Right.
We wanted to show US companies or US pharma companies that we have a backing. So there are somebody who's trusting us. So I think you can also trust us and buy it.
Right.
Reason being, India, even today, things have changed now, but even today known for more of for services,
Correct.
right? It is not trusted for a product.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, they think that we don't know how to design a product, right? It's so to have that one, to have a backup, and then show that yeah, we are going to be here, we are backed by, we are trusted by government
This way,
funding,
yes.
and then will definitely continue this journey. So that's how we wanted to have them. So that was a really good thing.
Right.
Not only that, when we got fund from Innovation Works and PLSG,
Right.
the greatest advantage I personally had was on my board we had people from Carnegie Mellon University,
Okay.
professors, top rated people,
Yeah. It does matter in the end of the day, the expertise you have on
the
board.
expertise we have.
Right.
So they were really good. And then still even today there is one independent director on my board
Okay.
who continues with that one
Okay.
because he likes us.
Right.
Right? So more importantly, they gave us so much of knowledge on creating a company in US and then running it the way US people probably would like it,
Right.
right? So that was a very strong foundation for us. Then we
Right.
started from there,
Right.
right?
Right.
So that was a great journey. So that time we were only about 80 people back in India.
Mhm.
Today we are about 700,
Wow.
right?
Wow.
And with that strength of having an office in the US and then catering to the needs of US FDA, that was a really great thing,
Yeah.
right? So one of the amazing stories, even today I cherish is I went to US FDA, CBER and CEDAR,
Okay.
so Center for Biological Center for Drugs. So I gave a demo of entire project. I was giving demos that time
Okay.
personally. So when we put our product in front of them and then showed them, and then talked about 21 CFR Part 11, right? At the end of my session, they all stood up and said, "You understood 21 CFR very well compared to us." That was really fun. So I really like that even today. Right?
Wow.
So the discussions really went on well, and then a lot of people really liked it. We really got some good orders too. Some really slipped out because you are not financially strong or not strong there in US presence.
How they say that to be successful, you need to increase your failure rate.
That's true. I mean, a lot of things we don't count them only thing, so we only count the success rates. That's true. It really went on well.
Right.
So with that, we wanted to really have very strong presence in India too,
Right.
because India becomes next largest FDA approved companies in India. So
Right.
that really gave a lot of strength there. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. With all of this expansion, in the end of the day, more hiring, right? More people.
Hmm.
How did you strategize it? Means I think that a lot of companies, even today and in past as well, one common challenge that I've always come across is good hiring. So how did you manage hiring not only in India but globally as well?
Very good question. Uh, Especially, it's a very big challenge for companies with products,
Right.
product-centric companies.
Correct.
And from the beginning, from the day one, we wanted to be in products only, not in the services.
Okay.
So, as I told, India is known for services. If I wanted to build a service company, I would have really built it very fast
Right.
compared to the way this one. So, product companies actually need people with a different mindset.
Right.
Okay, with a different mindset of inquisitiveness, loving the product, what they are doing, loving the job they are doing, and then continuing that for a long time.
Right.
Those are the important parameters for that.
Right.
It's probably that time we were all thinking that it's not the communication, it's the substance what we require.
Yes.
Now we think communication is also very important, right? So the success in hiring is more about grooming people from the beginning.
Yes.
So first of all, identifying, bringing them on board, giving them the space to think, right? That actually is the essence of everything.
Very important.
So when they are really like, no, they don't fear of failure,
Right.
they would really create a lot of good things. Today, if I look at, there's a bunch of products, but if I look at the flagship product, Caliber Limbs,
Right.
it is so strong in functionality, in the technology forefront. So it is because that sort of freedom is given to them to think about that, right? So, and then that sort of freedom is given to the customers to come out with, okay, what is that I want,
Right.
right? So with that, people actually become very inquisitive, and
Right.
then they get involved into the product.
Right.
The moment they get involved into the product, they really do wonders.
Right. They feel
So
inclusive,
they
basically.
become inclusive to
Right.
that, and that's how we actually start building the teams.
Right.
So essentially, we were all looking for people with product centric approach, and then we were also looking for people who are really fresh in mind, right?
Right.
Major reason being, if I get somebody from outside, right, from service mindset to the product mindset, it is very difficult to gel,
Change the mind.
right?
Right.
So or tune them to that one.
Right.
So we started building teams right from beginning. So when we get larger chunk of freshers, we need to have very good process in place,
Yeah.
right? So our HR processes even today are rated very best in terms of getting them on board, grooming them,
Right.
then giving them the scope to really explore further,
Right.
right? So there are so many leadership sessions going on, leadership initiatives going on.
Right.
We send people outside, like Nalsar, we had 2-3 batches done on that.
Okay.
We get people from outside.
Right.
So that's a whole process of building people. I would probably rate one more thing which is prime compared to all these things is we have no discrimination policy completely implemented.
Okay.
Right? So, and even today we have about 30-35% of our entire staff contributed by female people, right? Women, and all equally treated. Once you are into the campus, you are just a person.
Diversity is important.
Diversity is extremely important. Okay, we build that, and each and every person, right from our security to CEO, have got same policies,
Right.
same rules. So when they see that equality, they really start performing very well.
Right.
Right? That's how we build the entire team now. And
Do
there are
you
people.
remember when Aparna spoke at our Women Empowerment Conference?
Oh yeah, at Delhi.
Yes, in Delhi. I very well remember her telling me about that. Even on the stage, she mentioned that how she has also created jobs for those newly becoming mothers and newly married who are not allowed to work anymore, and how what kind of diversifications she has brought in the company, and that is also, I think, part of it, the reason that people don't want to.
Absolutely. See, even today, because there are a lot of people who are just entering into the life and
Right,
in our field,
right,
so they come and they grow with the company.
right.
So there are huge number of mothers, okay,
Yes,
young mothers,
absolutely.
right? And then we do have a very good baby care center in our
Wow.
campus.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
very rare for our size of companies to have it. So we do have that, and then we do give them work from home kind of thing, liberty
Right.
to work on or in their hours.
Right.
So take care of those things.
Right.
So they all grow with us. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all like a family.
Right, right. And do you intermittently put any sort of training in between as well? Like, means your hiring has a proper structured training for the freshers. So, do you have intermittent trainings as well for your staff?
Very, very interesting and important question. Reason being, when they're coming into, say, the work here,
Right,
and we are into completely pharmaceuticals,
correct.
right? Pharmaceuticals, it is very important for everyone in the company to understand that we are actually doing a sort of service first, right?
Right,
So whatever products we are going to make for pharma industry, we are going to be one of the customers.
correct.
Each and every one of us is a customer.
Right,
So we need to look at how do we really build products with the quality,
right,
ensure that our customers, like pharma companies,
right,
they do the job best, right?
right.
So for that, giving them our orientation is going to be extremely important.
Very important.
So sensitizing them about what important things they are doing. It is not like building a Facebook or Google or a mailing system. This is building a quality management system for the pharma industry, which
Right.
is ultimately going to be the for human, life,
Right. So
right?
basically, you are kind of setting the, uh, having a vision alignment with them, that what you saw in the company, what you want it to be, and they're also pretty aligned
Yes,
with.
pretty aligned with the purpose.
Right,
Okay,
right,
so unless they understand the purpose, they would not be in a position to really work on that one. So the quality is most important, and then the product what goes out,
right.
you should be responsible for that one,
Correct.
right? So and then of course the freedom to think about those things. So
Right.
coming back to the point, when we recruit someone, almost like 3 to 4 months of time just goes in the uh, training itself.
Training side.
In the training, one of the larger portion of that is about teaching them about the pharma industry.
Correct.
Okay, how quality systems are, how important is that, uh, drug making right from the research to the delivery. So
Correct.
how do they make it, the process of that. So all those things are important for them to understand.
Right.
So that itself takes a long time. So
Right.
when we get people, freshers on board,
Right.
so it really takes about 3 to 6 months time to look at, they deliver something to us,
Correct.
right? So
Correct.
it's a journey. So
Right.
then it actually, makes a lot of people passionate about that, what they're doing. So when they buy across the counter, okay, the medicine, oh, this is supported by us. This is supported by us. So that's the kind of enthusiasm they have.
Right.
So now in India, whenever you find some medicine, first thing they all look at is manufactured by whom? Is it supported by Caliber Limbs? Right? Yeah, then I'm sure. So
Yeah.
that's kind of thing what we do.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
So
So it's a milestone that you have achieved, and I think this is very inspiring for other entrepreneurs as well. And this is why we thought that in case if you have any particular advice to the entrepreneurs also, that what kind of things they have to look at when they are starting their own company, and what kind of things they should avoid, the mistakes they can avoid from the start. I know it's learning from your own mistake is a good idea, but there are few things that can be certainly avoided. So, what is the advice that you would like to give to the fellow entrepreneurs?
there could probably be, I mean, as, like you said, entrepreneur journey is always their personal journey,
Yeah.
right? So any amount of advisors are not going to tell them, like it's like teaching swimming outside the well or sea,
Yeah.
right? So, but having said that, there are few things which everybody probably should look at.
Mhm.
When you are trying to start something or do something, people look at you,
Yes.
right? And then be a person who would actually lead them, not do anything else with them, right? So when you are supporting them as a leader, that means you are following something to teach them something. So be a model for them.
Right.
That actually makes a lot of difference.
Right.
And then second advice would be like, financial prudence is one of the important things what we observed, and I think which is really good.
Right.
So spend where you must and save where you can, right? So that actually builds a company with a robust fundamentals in terms of finance.
Right.
At the same time, look at the diversity, equality, all these things are extremely important, and being a trusted person is the essence of it.
Very important. Very well said. And now about a little more on your personal life.
Mhm.
So now I know that you used to play tabla and you have love for music as well, and uh, modifying bikes. So I understand that means there were a lot of hobbies and it evolves over the period of time. How did it help you in your current profession as well?
Um, yeah, so music is almost like a forgotten story now because so reason being, I was more into like sort of accompanying kind of thing, but so
Okay.
unless there is a main singer, I cannot do anything with that. So that's a sort of forgotten story. I don't get time for that too,
Okay.
right? Uh, when when it comes to how all these things really help me in that, particularly uh, my automobile electronics and all these things really helped shape me in a lot of
Did.
things. So when we started the entire journey, so particularly when you look at the lab which I made for somebody else or the company which we made this one. Today, if you see the uh, lab limbs, you
Right.
know, limbs, whatever we are talking about is a second life of limbs. So
Yes.
where it is now completely connected systems approach.
Right.
So you're connecting to all the instruments, all the other applications, then doing it.
Correct.
So instrument integration plays a very, very vital role,
Thus.
right?
Right.
So 100% paperless labs if you want to create, so you need to have that sort of mindset.
Right.
So when we look at that, uh, being coming from a sort of electronics and mechanical background, we know like what we are trying to do,
Right.
how we integrate them, how do we really work with the themes.
Right.
So today I work with, I personally work with the innovation team,
Right.
right? In the entire 700 people or close to that. So I've got a 25 people team which is for innovation only,
Right.
right? So with this innovation team, we create a lot of new things, right? Whatever we create, then running well, that's somebody else to operate. But what I look for is what is that new we can do?
Right.
What is that industry is looking for?
Mm-hmm.
What are the problems they have? How do we solve them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so particularly this year has proven to be a very, very good year for innovation from our side. So this all, whatever hobbies I had and whatever things I was doing, that is actually getting into my innovation team,
Right.
right? So this 25 members team of my innovation team, I personally work with them very closely, and then we create so many things in that. We almost like spend 78% or even more than that of our revenues on that. So what it brings? It brings a lot of new things. So let it be, integrated quality management, almost like 10 years time, 10 years back.
Correct.
When I was speaking to Gartner analyst, so when I talked about these things, what we are trying to do, he said, "Wow, this is the first time I heard about this thing. You're really good." So that kind of wow factor we created in terms of coming out with some innovative things.
Right.
This year we came out with electronic displays, quality command centers. Then we talked about data sciences. So all these things are extremely new in terms of industry,
Right.
right? And particularly when you look at how all our things really created into new products here. Though we started with LIMS as our first product,
Right.
we went into 4 different verticals.
Okay.
Okay, so you have got a quality control, which is a lab, quality assurance for change management, deviations, quality management system,
Correct.
and we have got a division for manufacturing automation.
Okay.
We have a division for data sciences,
Right.
right?
Right. So
Another
very
division
structured,
yes, very
basically.
structured.
Right.
Structured in the sense, it starts growing that way.
Right.
Lab to quality to manufacturing to data sciences, which is ultimate.
Right.
So now I work and I spend more time with innovation to create new products from the data sciences.
Right.
So integrating or getting essence of or meaning of entire data produced by the pharma industry.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So that's actually bring my earlier life into this one.
Into this particular, yes, does make sense. Uh, My next question to you was supposed to be for you being the chairperson of ISPE, and which you I think already answered by answering this, because since you are leading the thought of learning and innovation, and this is exactly what ISPE is all about, right? Bringing the innovation and promoting the learning.
Yeah.
And no wonder you're the right fit. I don't think that I need an answer for that for sure now.
Yeah, so that's again very important part of entire thing. So I am on the board of ISP
Right.
and chair of Pharma 4.0
Okay.
community of practice,
All right.
right? Which is a new thing now.
Okay.
Um, I've been in ISP for almost like 13, 14 years now,
Okay.
right? When we started ISP Hyderabad chapter,
Right.
it was started in my office.
Okay.
It still remains there,
Okay.
right? So when that was a very, very interesting thing for us, because that's where people come together, very knowledgeable, key opinion leaders of the industry, stalwarts. Okay, so we all meet and then talk about what is coming up and then how do we organize
Yeah.
that.
Right.
So that was a very important part of bringing that sort of knowledge into the products too.
Correct.
Okay, that's secondary part of it. So,
Right.
but if you look at our responsibility of learning and then sharing with
Right.
people,
Right.
really fulfills by ISP.
Right.
ISP is a great organization in terms of knowledge sharing,
Right.
right? So while doing that for 13, 14 years I've been there, I've been on board of ISPE affiliate, India affiliate, for almost like 4 years now. So this year we started Pharma 4.0 community of practice.
Right.
So this gives us a lot of opportunity to bring people together.
Right.
So when you look at India as a pharma industry point of view,
Right.
so we are in the forefront of manufacturing.
Right.
So it's almost like known as pharmacy of India, pharmacy of the world, and also vaccine city of vaccine maker of world,
Right.
right? So when you look at those things, it is important for all of us to look at how do we digitize and make the entire patient safety mechanism well oiled into the part.
Right.
So when we look at patient-centric approach or patient safety as the first one, we need to have a lot of automation kept into that, because if you look at uh, any of your 483s or non-compliances kind of thing, the first and foremost thing is human errors,
Okay.
right? People can never be removed from the entire thing, so they
Absolutely.
become real part of that.
Right.
But where they can actually contribute is the very essential part and very important part of it.
Right.
So when you look at that, it is important to have mechanization or automation in place to reduce any of these human-centric errors.
Right.
So for that, Pharma 4.0 actually assumes a very, very important space. So we being like pharmacy of the world, so a lot of manufacturing happens. Pharma 4.0 really brings in a lot of value to everyone, including the patient.
Right.
Right? So with that view, this community of practice, Pharma 4.0,
Right.
we starting there now, wherein we bring in key opinion leaders.
Right.
And first of all, this technology is all about solving a problem.
Right.
Okay, so what we wanted to really achieve through this one is knowing the problems what to be solved. You know the problem, then you can come out with the solution. Solution never comes first.
Never comes from that.
Right?
Yeah.
So with that ISP background with Pharma 4.0 and community of practice, we wanted to really get into the industry and then solve their problems, and be a place to share knowledge. So we are bringing people from across the industry, key opinion leaders, maybe vendors also together, and then talk about what are the problems can solve, what problems to be solved, and how it can be solved.
That's how it is.
And finally, how to make it sense to everyone, patient, and then of course the pharma management too.
Right.
That's an entire story behind
Story
that.
behind it. Right. Right. And how do you maintain the work-life balance? Because from what I hear and understand, that you work around the clock, right? And you're always on the forefront to even at this moment work on the innovation rather than only having other hands work for you, but you are also contributing yourself as well. How do you make time for yourself and your family?
Interesting question, but I don't really work 24/7 kind of thing. I switch off very clearly by 10 o'clock in the night, probably
Okay.
sleep well. So the probably one of the important things is to make people know about what they are trying to do. Even today, I get very, very few calls
Okay.
on my phone,
Okay.
right? So, and it is very important for all of us to have work-life balance. And
Absolutely.
we do ensure that they all have that freedom
Right.
to work when they can, and then when they want to take a break, they can always take it. So, in my personal life too, so I really look at, when I go back home, I should be really peaceful, okay, because there are people who are taking care of it.
Yeah.
That actually brings the work-life balance.
Yeah.
If you are able to separate out your, business from
Your
family,
personal, yes,
you are really good,
absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
And we make sure that we really switch off certain things and then
Right, right.
do it.
And you have mastered this compartmentalization of, your personal and your professional space. Any tips that you would like to give to our aspiring leaders that how they can begin practicing this?
Yeah, that very important thing is, yeah, we cannot avoid bringing company into the family, but we make sure that family is never into the company.
Oh, yes,
Very,
very
very clear,
beautifully put across.
absolutely no.
Right,
Aparna takes care of finance and HR,
right,
right? She is extremely independent on that. We are extremely independent on this.
right,
And we make sure that it is completely professional, transparent company what we do.
right.
And then whoever in the family is there into the business, they are completely on their own.
Mm-hmm.
To the fact that I'm shaker for everyone there. The moment I step out, then I become a father or husband or
Husband.
whoever it is, right? So within the campus, shaker is shaker, Aparna is Aparna.
Wow, wow, very
Okay,
nice. But has
and
there any ever been a tiff or a disagreement of opinion on
not
in
till
business?
this 23 years or 24 years. I don't know about future, but I don't think it will come
Yeah,
because
because my next question would have been that did you get food on that night?
did you get?
Did you get food? Did you get dinner at home? Did Aparna cook after an argument? But you said it never
No,
happened.
see, that's one very good part of it. We are all very independent in terms of cooking,
Oh, okay.
right? So we don't have to. If somebody says that I'm not going to give dinner, I'm going to cook. so,
Okay.
so that will never happen. And at home too, we are completely. I don't know how to term it. So we know what we are trying to do.
Right.
Breakfast is my job,
Okay.
even today,
All right.
right?
Okay.
So lunch is Aparna's job.
Okay.
So dinner, whoever gets it home early, they cook the
That was,
dinner,
oh,
right?
wow.
So that's how it is. So we 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 don't have any sort of discrimination for any sort of work,
Okay.
right? Whether washing clothes or dishes or doing anything at any time,
Wow.
right? So that's how we probably maintain that peace in the life,
That
right?
is the best way to actually maintain work-life balance.
We get a lot
Everyone
of time in the
happy.
kitchen to spend. So of course outside you don't get. So that's
Yeah.
probably the tip.
But that's a very beautiful moment. Sometimes making food together and sometimes making it
Yeah,
for each
whenever
other.
I'm at Hyderabad, I keep traveling quite a lot. But whenever I'm at Hyderabad, the breakfast is my job.
Okay.
Right?
and 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 what about Lalita? Because she's, I guess, most of the time operating from Canada, right?
Yeah.
And so when she comes here or there, so how is it?
So it's interesting. She's a chartered accountant by education.
Okay.
Worked with Deloitte, PwC for some time,
Right.
and then she got married and then moved to Canada. And she was of course working partly
I
part
was
time with
surprised
us.
when she had told me about that she's chartered accountant by education
Yeah.
because she has so good marketing sense and so good sense of positioning a brand. She's very good at it.
So actually, that's what she realized. She was working on branding, creating some marketing material, talking about some ideas with us
Right.
while she was working with them too.
Right.
But when she moved, then she was working with Canada government for some time.
Right.
But then suddenly she said, I think the best part of my entire work would be creating something new, and then that I'm seeing in Caliber.
Wow.
So she wanted to take care of branding, strategy, and other things. Yeah, she does an extremely good job in terms of that. And as I said, when she comes into the company, she is completely on her own, right? And she takes care of the branding, strategy, and everything. She is a guru for that,
Wow.
and we all follow, right?
Okay.
We all follow that.
Right.
And then when we get into the campus, I'm Shekhar to her, That's all.
Okay.
Dress is that way, then we behave that way.
That is
Yeah.
important.
And then it's not just me and then we understand that. Entire company understands that. So we are very clear about what we are trying to do. So
Right.
very transparent in terms of that. So
Right.
they know that, yeah, this is a company which is going to be headed by professionals. So that professional can be from family or from outside. But they are
Right.
professionals.
Right. Right. Okay. So now one very important question that we have is for the students, and since you're very passionate about this subject as well, and you're supporting them. Um, so we have listeners and viewers who are not only from pharmaceutical industry, but there are students as well. As at in every conference, we keep 5 seats reserved for the students,
Okay.
and that is complimentary. So now these kids, they also want to know about some guidance on the career as well. That what is it that they should do when they start their career? They are looking forward to start their jobs in the next year or the coming year. So what is the advice that you would like to give the students?
Yeah, so in fact, to tell about even my initiatives towards people, students learning in ISPE, we were very passionately promoting young professionals.
Right.
Wherein go to students and then talk to them, bring them into things,
Correct.
give them again free exhibition seats, okay,
Right.
workshop seats, and then that was an important part of it.
Yes.
So now coming to these, when students when they want to come into a work life, they might probably start with something in mind.
Yes.
Okay, I want to be this, but generally it is not going to be their ending dream. You know? So when they start working, then they realize that there is something else coming up.
Right.
So my advice would be for them to be open to look at opportunities to learn, and then look at or search for what is their passion.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So passion is never like a sort of conclusion. It's a journey,
Yes.
right? You need to be looking at what makes you or what excites you further,
Right.
right? So I might probably say that today my passion is motorcycles, right? But my passion would not remain motorcycles because I want to probably
It
look
will
at something
evolve.
else, right?
Right.
Maybe look at electronics as my passion. Look at today if you look at my gardening is my passion,
Right.
right? So it is like looking at what really excites you in the next 5 years time or next 10 years time
Right.
is going to be the practice probably they have to embed.
Right. So don't
So
settle basically.
don't settle. So explore.
Yes.
Explore. World is really wide. Go
Right.
and explore it. So today you may start like I want to be in coding. Don't know, maybe they like the camera and then go on to be in production.
You never
Okay,
know.
or doing something. So we don't know. So if they're open to doing something or open to looking at opportunities and looking at learning what their passion is, getting to know themselves,
Right.
that makes entire difference.
Difference
My thought.
altogether.
Yeah.
100%. Wow, that is very, very well said. And I thank you very much that you made time for me. And I know that we are beyond our promised time as well, but it didn't feel like that the time just flew like this.
It was more of a conversation.
Absolutely.
Never ending conversation.
Never ending conversation.
Yeah.
There is so much to learn. And as an entrepreneur, means it's not only useful for the people who are listening, but me interviewing you, maybe I'm on the forefront of taking the most gyan right here. Thank you very much, Sekhar.
Thanks, Puneet. Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Today we had Mr. Sekhar Surabhi in our studio. And what do you think about this podcast? Please mention in the comments below. If you have any further questions for him, please do let us know. We'll get hold of him and get your questions answered. Thank you very much. See you in the next week.